I know you like that. How long you been back, man? You know you like that. 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 What? You know you like that. Come on. You know you like that.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome back to the Live It Out podcast on this Tuesday night. Before we get started, I want you guys to just check in, share this podcast, subscribe to our YouTube page, click like, join in the conversations. I want you to put all of your comments, your questions, just check in and let us know that you're watching in the comments as we're going through the podcast. Today's conversation touches on grief, loss, and mental health, specifically in the experiencing of losing a spouse. So before we begin, I want to acknowledge that this is a deeply personal and sometimes painful topic. If you're listening and this brings up emotions for you, please take care of yourself in whatever way you need to. You step away if you need to and come back when you're ready. Our goal with this episode of Live It Out is not to define grief or offer quick answers, but to create space for honesty and reflection and connection. Everyone's experience with loss is different, and there's no right way to grieve. So I am really eternally grateful to be joined by our guests tonight, Jesse, Simeon, and Chrissy, who has generously chosen to share part of their story with us. So we're going to move through this conversation with care. At any point, we honor what feels comfortable to share. So thank you for being here and for holding space with us. So we want to welcome Jesse, we want to welcome Chrissy, and we want to welcome Simeon. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi, thank you again for joining us, for holding space with us tonight on Live It Out Inc. on this personal topic. First of all, I want to kind of get the conversation going, and whatever feels right. What would you like to tell us a little bit about your spouse? Just a little bit, nothing long, just whatever you're willing to share. Chrissy, I'm gonna start with you.
My spouse, he was more of a person, go-getter, hard worker, and just an outgoing person. So to see him go through that phase of where he was gradually changing was a lot, because I'm used to a person who always go. I mean, you would think he didn't have more than 24 hours in a day. So to see that gradually decline was a lot, but I can say that he fought to the end, and he was always, and since I knew him, was a fighter, and he's proved that until the end. So that gave me peace and solace, knowing that he was no longer suffering, and that he pretty much, was able to make a lot of amends before he transitioned.
Right.
So for that, I was definitely thankful for that.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Jesse, what would you like to share?
Um, so my husband was a father. He was a man's man. He pretty much was an all-around man. He worked every day, made sure he took care of his family. He was very talkative. Everybody that knew him knew that if you get on the phone with him, or you finna be on the phone for hours. You try to hang up, oh, he finna tell you, remember this story. He was a cook, really good man. His death, if you want me to say that, was actually instant. He wasn't sick or nothing. It was an instant death, unseen. So nothing that we knew that would happen.
Right. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for that, Jesse. Simeon.
Well, on the other hand, my wife, she loving. She love you. She take the shirt off her back, give you. A little quick temper, and if she loves you, she will go out of the way to help you. She always try to show love to people. She don't have to know you a long time to love you, you know. And during her time, it was like she tried to paint a pretty picture, like everything was okay. To be honest,
Right.
she didn't want you to suffer with her. So even to the last minute, and then the thing at that, she wasn't like it's gonna be all right. Even the very day when she in hospital, it's okay, Pookie. When she not coming home, it's okay, Pookie. Cause
Right.
that's what those are the words she used.
Wow. So, Simeon, I heard you say that she didn't share with you, like you didn't really know until the end, like to it was almost the end with that. So how did you deal with that?
Yeah, it was a shocker because prior to her um gone through what she gone through, I think 4 years before that she lost her mom. And 4 years to that she lost her mom. Almost is a similar scenario because the sickness or thing, it's a family thing per se.
Correct.
I could put it like that. Yeah, it's something that travel within the family.
Right.
It's not the big C, but it's a DNA thing.
Okay.
And our mom went through a similar process with the way she went because it was a art issue for her. And I remember the mom went through similar scenario. So 4 years to that to her was the mom, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
then when it was her, knowing that these things going on, she didn't speak up early enough or say this likely be or that likely be. All I know was, oh, the med farm mess up my heart. And I sit on that for about 3 years until I spoke with the doctor.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So, guys, is what's something about them that you still carry to this day? Chrissy, what's something about your husband that you still carry to this day?
Um, who a lot. Just his courageousness, um, his love for pure people, and always wanting to help people. Kind of similar in the way what Simeon was saying with his wife. I'm not sure of the illness, but with Anthony, he found out later that it was his illness with his diagnosis, which was cancer, was not just with him, it was with his mother, his biological father, and his brother. All of them died of the same type of cancer. And so I really, I think it was more so just now being more enlightened to the fact that knowing when things are hereditary, finding out about your family history, because a lot of times when people come from situations where their homes are broken and families don't discuss things, that you kind of are in the back, in denial or not knowing about what's really your DNA.
Right.
And it brought awareness to me because even with our daughters now, make sure that they make their doctors aware of what's going on, and with it being such a long lineage of cancer in his family, that they can get early screenings and detection, because unfortunately, had we known that with him, probably could have gotten it done sooner. So just being aware of what happened with him makes me also more conscious of when something is going wrong with my body, being able to go to the doctor and talk about it and identify it, and don't brush things under the rug and say it'll get better, because our bodies tell us when something is going on. And a lot of times we try to figure out it on our own or self-diagnose, and by the time you find out, it's too late. So one of the things that I took from this entire situation with dealing with him is just being aware of my body, going to the doctor, asking the right questions, being an advocate for myself, because I was an advocate for him for so long, that
Right.
now I'm an advocate for myself and our girls to make sure that when they go to the doctor, they're getting the help they need as far as asking questions, knowing about their bodies. Because so many times we just try to keep it to ourselves
Right.
and it's too late. And we don't want it to get to that point.
Absolutely, absolutely. Jesse, for you, we're gonna go to like just experiencing the loss, period. And yours was like you said, yours was instant. So you didn't know, you had no warning, you had no time to do anything, you didn't have to care. It was instantaneously. How did your world shift? Like in that
Whew.
moment, how did your world shift?
Um, it was it shifted bad, hard. Like it hit hard because and what I take from that is I always tell my husband, tomorrow's not promised. One of the things we never did, we never went to sleep with fussing without saying we love each other without leaving in the morning. And that morning he got up early to do what he do, go to work or whatever. And I'm always working, always, always working. And I decided that week, I said, okay, I'm gonna take off. I took off Thursday and Friday. Well, yeah, Thursday and Friday. So Wednesday, my daughter said, "Dad, you gonna pick me up?" He was like, "Yeah, I'll pick you up." So he was like, "Your mama finally took off. So Thursday and Friday, I'm gonna take you to school. We gonna take you to school, and we're gonna stop for breakfast or whatever." She was like, "Yay," because I don't never take off. So that morning we got up. He was like, "All right, I'm gonna do this quick run. I'm gonna pick up Morgan. You gonna stay late, right?" I was like, "Yeah, if you get her by 2 o'clock, then I can stay late, and then I'm off tomorrow." He was like, "Okay," because my doctor appointment in the morning, which was that Thursday. So that night he was out, he was driving trucks. So he was on the way back. He was like, "I'll be back by 6 o'clock." So then Morgan coming now, it's about 8:39. She's like, "Where's my dad?" And I said, "Let me call him." He never FaceTime. The whole 13 years of marriage, he would never FaceTime. So this particular day, Morgan say, "I thought you was gonna be here at 6 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock. Where are you?" She one of those people that keep up with your time.
Right.
So he was like, "Just FaceTime me right quick." So we FaceTime. He was like, "All right, big head, go ahead and go to bed." He was like, "I told your mom took off, so I'll be there in a minute." She was like, "Okay, I'm gonna leave my light on. So when you get here, turn my light off." He was like, "Okay, I will." So we talked for a minute, and then he say, "Man, I listened to MJG. He told me I'm about 15 minutes out. I should be getting out the exit." He was like, "Go ahead, do what you need to do. Put my food in the microwave, and I'll be there by 10:15." Cool. So I get up, go ahead, start cleaning up the kitchen, put the food in the microwave. I lay down, and I'm one of them people. If you say you're gonna be somewhere at 10:15, you need to be here at 10:15.
Right.
So, so about 10:17, I'm like, okay, Walmart is not that far because that's where we normally park it, like from the house. So I'm like, okay, I ain't gonna say now. 10:20, I ain't gonna say now. By 10:25, I'm blowing the phone up, blowing the phone up. And I never only have to call once and he'll answer. And I'll say after the 29th call, which I counted after I got the phone back from them, the guy picked up the phone and was like, "Miss Robinson," and I was like, "Yes." And then when he said it though, what caught me was he said Henry County Coroner's Office.
Wow.
Wow.
So I said, "Coroner's Office, where's my husband?" He was like, "I'm sorry, there's been an accident. You still live there?" He said my address. He said, "We 5 minutes from the house. We right across the bridge. It was an accident." And I was like, "Where's my husband?" And he was like, "He didn't make it."
Mm.
I ran out the house. It was a February cold. I think I had on shorts, no shoes, tank top, night clothes, pretty much. Got in my car. Don't remember. I remember driving up there. I remember seeing the truck over the embankment. I remember jumping out, running toward the truck, asking, like, "Where's my husband?" And the guy picked me up and he was just like, "I'm sorry, they already took him." I'm like, "What do you mean?" Like, I literally just got off the phone with him. Like, no sickness, no cough, no nothing. Like, nothing was wrong with him. He literally went to the doctor that Monday and he had another appointment that Thursday. So, nothing out of ordinary. Like, nothing was nothing. And when the man gave me the phone and the book bag and all that stuff, MJG was playing on the phone.
Wow.
So it was still playing the music when the
The
man
me-
handed it back to me.
Wow.
So my life kind of got flipped upside down really, really bad because we just had bought a home. And the bad part is the home was 90% of his income. So everything that you would think of as far as finance wise was I'll say 80% him and 20% me.
Mm-hmm.
So now that 80% gone and you're thinking like, what's next? So I'm stuck with a child without a dad. And she was a girl dad like me. So, you know, it kind of it took a minute. Like it took me a minute. I think I stayed out of work 6 months and I went back for like 3 weeks and then I was off again for like another 3 months.
Wow. So I'm gonna let you take a little breather. Um, Chrissy, how did your life shift after the loss? Like
Ooh,
when the time came?
mm, a lot. My life shift because I had been with my husband since well, we were friends when I was 17. We started dating when I was in college. So to be with a person for almost 30 years and then to be married for 24 was a lot. So I had never lived by myself because when I graduated from college, we moved in together. We bought a house together. So going from sleeping in a bed with a person every night into now trying to do everything on your own. That person where when I have any problems, I call him. He talks me down when I'm upset. And like Jesse was saying, I didn't pay any bills. He was my provider. So from just going from that to just now trying to figure out who I am and how to navigate in this world without my best friend, the person that I slept beside every night. Like still to this day, I can't sleep on his side of the bed. Like literally, I tried and I wake up with migraines. I can't sleep. So it's like literally I have to put pillows and things on that side of the bed because it's still just a big challenge. Like I did counseling, so I can say that that helped a lot because I was able to pack up things and just try to make some sense of normalcy to try to figure out a new norm, so to speak. But when you're a person you talk to every day, you see every day,
Yeah.
it becomes hard. So therapy did help and just figuring out my village. And I can say that I have a group of supportive friends and family who's been there for us and then trying to be strong for our two daughters.
Right.
Because of course I got to make sure that they stay whole. So just trying to be strong for them and me and pouring into them, is sometimes you feel like your cup is kind of empty.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started like last year because it was a year February 24th. So I
Mm,
started traveling, just trying to do things to bring peace because I knew traveling brings me joy. So just trying to do those things, praying and being able to accept it, embrace it, like realizing that to grieve somebody is to love them. And so when I think of him now, it's not always in a sad manner. Like we joke about things he would do and what he would say. And so that's kind of helped me to cope a lot because to be honest, I don't think it ever goes away.
Right.
But you just figure out ways to deal with it. And I still have moments where I may just be standing somewhere and I remember or I'll see things like if I'm my husband, because he was a caterer. So I was always shopping for stuff for him for his catering business. It's been times I'll just stand in the grocery store and I remember things that he told me to get and just cry. So you just let it out. I find myself not trying to hold it in. I cry when I need to. I scream when I need to. I talk to him when I need to because that's the only way I feel like I can get through it. Because when you hold it in, it stress kills you.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
I just try to, I think of the good times we had and just take it day by day because I can't tell anybody. I don't tell people how to grieve, but I don't think it ever gets better. I think you just figure out ways to cope with
To
it.
cope with it. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Simeon, how did your world shift in the end, like when you experienced the loss?
Well, for me, what I actually do, I do some of those stuff that the late that Miss Chrissy do, traveling and all that stuff. But I'm a cancer, and I can take a lot of grief to somewhat, but I try to take the grief and turn into a positive rather than try to keep crying,
Right.
because I'm from the islands, for those who know. So I kind of grew on the rough side of the life itself. So even coming here, meeting my wife, getting the opportunity to stay in this country because of her, there was moments when, you know, family member or relatives say, "Oh, you only with her for a green card." When she got sick and all that stuff, and we finally buy a house, because that's the time I just bought a house
Mm.
after gaining my citizenship, and we moved from Fulton County to Noonan down here. The boys never so integrated because they were more thinking it's a white community, which it is in somewhat, but I look at it as a better community anyway in
Right.
terms of growth, because the schools are good down here. So when she hear, I say, yes, I can prove now to the family that, hey, I wasn't just with her for a green card or my citizenship. I'm going to show the family that, hey, we can live a nice life. And she hold me when I need to be held. So now I can hold her, because going through schooling, getting myself situated in this country, she was right behind me right there. So when
Mhm.
the time come for her to enjoy back something, I was elated for her to good. Only the fact that at that moment she was sick, too
Mhm.
sick, because it's like for 3 years I'm more of a caretaker than a normal husband. I couldn't take vacations the way I wanted. For 7 years, I couldn't even travel back home to Jamaica. I was just right there with her, because I remember leaving her once and she cried so much till she passed out. I just couldn't leave.
Right.
So she take on to me so much and she showed me so much love and everything, that it took me about 1.5 year before I empty her closet. And I think it's last year I finally moved our pictures out the house
Mhm.
after about 4 years. So it she lingers.
Yeah.
Yes, there were not girlfriend after her, but that even didn't last, because I tell myself that I wouldn't even marry again.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I tell myself that, and the girlfriend say I'm a battered husband. I said no, I just not married again.
Right. Right.
You know,
I'm glad you
so
said that. With Jesse and Chrissy, do you think you would? How do you feel about love and marriage? And I know it's still fairly fresh with you, Chrissy. So, what's your take on love at this point?
Mm, I I
Yes.
haven't even thought that far. Like
Right.
people ask me that, and I always tell them I mean, I'm not looking,
Okay.
and I don't want to
I
go
don't like
into a
anything.
relationship comparing him. And
Right.
so maybe in the future when I'm healed, and I'm not even gonna say healed to where I'm not at a space to where, because that's all I knew, so I'm a young widow. I'm not, I'm 48 years old. So I'm not gonna say I'll never date again, but I'd have to get to a point mentally to where I'm no longer comparing that person to him. And so because I'm not there yet, it's just not feasible for me to go into a relationship. Because I mean, like you said, I still have pictures of him up. I still can't even, move to the side of the bed. So for me right now, it's kind of just day by day, just trying to find me before I
Right.
can even bring another person into a scenario.
Okay. What about you?
Well,
Excuse me, y'all.
Bless you.
I was
What
about to say something.
You can go, Simeon.
So, yes, you're a young widow. I'm 49 myself. But what I use to help me to cope and try to move forward is that I tell myself life goes on, and I start to travel. Last year I went to 7 different countries, and doing that, it helped me to start find myself as an individual, because I was able to like learn how to be single. And when I learned how to be single all over again, it helped me to start say, okay, here I am now setting my checklist of what I will accept, what I will not accept as I move further on. And it seems to be working for me so far.
Okay. What about you, Jesse? Love and how you feel about it?
Oh Lord. Okay, so let me give y'all kudos because it's been 4 years for me. I haven't packed up his closet. I haven't packed up his side of the sink. Like everything's still under the sink the way it was. His toothbrush still there. Closet still the way he left it. But pictures everywhere. Like I ain't took no pictures down yet. So I would get married again. I do want to be married again. But dating is hard. Dating is hard when you've had your person and you had like your best friend. Like my husband was my best friend. We could talk about anything. We could talk on the phone for hours. My one of my lieutenants used to say, "Do y'all live together?" Because I would be at work from the time I walk in work at 6:45, 7:10, my office phone ringing. Why is you calling my phone? He be like, "It didn't take you that long to walk from the parking deck." And we'll be on the phone all day. I got to be like, I'm gonna call you back. I got to run somewhere. I'm gonna call you back. Soon as I say I'm gonna call you back, by the time I go do what I'm gonna do, get back to my office, he calling again. That particular day when he passed, we was on the phone all day then. And so for me, I mean, I would marry again. It just dating's hard. Like, and it's been really hard because, and I heard what you said, Krista, you don't want to compare. That's gonna be the hardest thing in the world because you're looking for your best friend and you already had them, but your second half of life is about living. So me, I do the same thing, travel. I want to do something fun. I try not to compare, but it's hard not to because when you're used to something, like me, I'm used to, like I said, the income 90%, 80% with him, 20% with me. So nowadays you don't have men that want to come in and feel like they doing 80. They want to do 50-50. I'm spoiled. And my daddy did the same thing. And now I don't do 50-50. I just feel some kind of way. So
Right.
when God decides he gonna send me somebody, I'm gonna let him choose the person and hopefully the person can fit the shoes because I have had conversations, but they don't last long because pretty much like he said, you're gonna let people know what you expect. Things
Right.
that you're gonna accept, things you're not gonna accept. And I just feel like is he out there, whoever he is, he gonna be blessed when he get me in his life. But until then, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. I'm not rushing nothing because I thought I was ready, but my brother told me until I take the pictures down or at least clean the closet out a little bit, I ain't ready. So I'm like, I said it to myself last week that I was gonna take the picture down, and oh baby. I cried. I cried so bad. I just put them back up. So maybe I'm not ready. So I don't know when you be ready because it's been 4 years and I don't know. But if the right person come along, I think I'm willing to,
Give
go
it a
that
shot.
route. Yeah, I
Okay.
give it a shot. But ooh, baby, it
Can
don't
I
get
say
easy.
something to you?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Chrissy, I heard you say you went to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that helped you in a way.
Oh, a lot. So I was really going through it. So I was really battling a lot in the beginning because when
Okay.
I was putting on so much on my shoulders trying to make sure the girls were good. And so I was doing a lot of deflecting, and it would just I know I needed to talk to somebody, but and it's ironic enough I was at work because I went back to work like about 3 weeks later because I was just like I can't sit in this house because this is where he transitioned and it's just so many memories was here.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got to work, I would just find myself crying all the time, and one of my lady working HR, she suggested for me to call this help group that they had online. And so I didn't want to do the group therapy, but I did go to an individual therapist, and she just helped me deal with not even deal, help me to cope with a lot because a lot of times I just needed somebody just to talk to listen. And I had friends and family, but I needed to talk to somebody that was going to give me their unbiased opinion because, of
Right.
course, I was battling with anger. You go through so many different emotions. You mad, you sad, you happy. You then you start having regret, and then you start the wishing I would have, could have done this, and what could I've
Mhm.
done differently. Then you start to blaming yourself. Where had I given him this medicine, and we would have went to this instead of this route. So it was just a whole lot of doubt and things that I had to deal with that otherwise it was going to drive me crazy.
Yeah.
So and not being by myself for such a long period of time, just having to sit in it was a challenge. And so therapy definitely helped me. And I thought so. The ironic part of all of it, the therapy that I had was through my insurance with my job, and so it ended in December because she didn't. We changed plans, and I haven't gone to a therapist since December. But I took a lot of the things that we spoke about and coping mechanisms to deal with things. So I still use a lot of that today. So I can say it helps me a lot in that aspect because I don't think I would have done it. I tell people, a lot of people are not for therapy, but for me, it helped a lot because I'm just be honest. I think I would have been a basket case.
Right. Right. So Simeon, who did you use like for a support group? If you, I don't know if you or Jesse did therapy or not.
Well,
What was your
I
support?
didn't do the therapy. My daughter did therapy because my daughter was the only girl in the family right there. So she had two boys, I had a girl. So it was hers and mine. So when she passed, I think that she was like the baby girl and all that stuff. She took that a little way because she grew her since she was 4 years old
Hmm.
until she's 11. So for that, most of that is like she does know her as mommy.
Right.
So I had to put her in karate class, something to mentally change her. And with that said, that helped her. Now for me, I like I said, I try to use every negative I've gone through. I try to see the positive out of it. In other words, sometimes like I'm saying, what next? What next? What next gonna come? So I did my healing through family members and people praying with me and all of that good stuff. And I try to find that self peace. And as the years goes by, I let go bit by bit. Because if I didn't let go bit by bit, then I would be hungry because knowing what you know actually at the end, and it's like you're powerless to what's going on, it make you hungry. It's like, was I not trusted enough to learn all of this 3 years ago?
Right.
Because when I learned what I learned is when the doctor spoke to me, have a sit down and spoke to me and said, this is failing, that is
Oh
failing.
my God.
If COVID didn't come in, because COVID is what put the icing on the cake.
Right.
She had underlying issues, but when COVID came, she catch COVID by going to a funeral. I'm
Mm-hmm.
still upset up to today about that going to the funeral. Even though I know that at some point the art would say whatever, but to me, I think she would still go another year or maybe more.
Right.
So what had happened? She lost a cousin, and I took her to the wake or something like that. And she said she going to the funeral, and I said, "Don't go to the funeral. You already show your face already." And she said, "Yes, I'm going to the funeral. That cousin is a ride and die and all that good stuff." And then she took the younger son out of school that Thursday just to drive her to funeral. And at the end of that funeral, she and two other cousins catch have the COVID. Two of them went in the hospital, and she didn't come back out. But the next cousin, she really got sick bad because she told me. So it's
Mhm.
three cousins catch the COVID. I don't know if because of meet and greet or whatever. But when she picked up that when she picked up that COVID, she went in and she didn't come back out.
Right.
So yes, I'm hungry about that. Because it's like if hadn't she hear what I said, hadn't she what could have happened? Would she be here? But when the doctor sit with me and say, yes, even if she didn't have COVID, maybe she would go another 6 months or a year based on the heart issues that she have because her organs was really failing.
Turn this off.
And that is when it's like, okay, so you didn't open up to me 3 years ago. You're just telling me that, okay, Pookie, it's all right, Pookie. I'm gonna be all right, Pookie. Cause I'm there like everything. She had the monitor, she have the tube, she have everything. Every week was a doctor visit, but I'm there. Like I said, I didn't take vacations. My day offs was to take her to the doctor.
Mhm.
So yes, I know that maybe one day, but at the same time, in the back of my head, as long as she can go. Because when the doctors ask me, do you want to pull the plug 14 days into the sickness? Because she's not coming back home. That time I start to feel like you guys, as people have COVID, wanna write them off like they're dead. I was
Right.
yeah, I was mad. Like I ain't pulling no plug. Let you live until when whatever that is. And that's when I started to reach out to the entire family. Hey, come talk to Red. Come see what's going on. If she have anything to tell you guys, let she tell you now. Whatever she need to put in place, come hear it. You know? So
Mhm.
so dealing with all of that, like I said, I have to find different ways to let go piece by piece, bit by bit. And that is why it's why last year I really moved the photos out of the house
Right.
from 2021 until now.
Right. Ooh. Okay. So when you think about your identity and who you were with your spouse, how did losing your spouse affect your sense of identity? Because I hear you guys saying that was my best friend. We did everything together. I could tell them anything. So that sense of identity you had with them, who are you now?
Oh, I definitely feel like I'm a totally different person. I'm not a I, and people say it at work all the time. Like I was not that I'm walking around sad, but I'm just not the person that jokes like I used to. I take a lot of things more serious. Um, I'm more emotional when it comes to things because I take everything literally now. So I think um he was my calmness. He was the person that kind of calmed me whenever I got worked up. So not having that person now, I think sometimes I just like and now and that was one of the things that therapy had to do for me and had to help me with was being able to be more calm and cope with things because I can go to 0 to 100 in 10 seconds. So just being able to now learn the new person I am because I tell people I'm different now. I don't have the tolerance level, but I'm okay with losing people, if that makes sense. And it's crazy,
Mhm.
Simeon. You said the same thing, like with your cancer, and that's the same astrological sign for me. And so I have like zero tolerance. So for me, I can take on a lot, but in taking that on, I have zero patience with it. So I tell people all the time that person who was a lot more forgiving and that person who gave you chance after chance, she doesn't exist anymore. Like I'm very if you disturb my peace, I'm out of there. Like I don't allow anything to get me angry, upset. I'm okay with walking away, never speaking to you again. If I feel any inkling of any kind of way uncomfortable, I'm out of there. And before I used to be able to tolerate a lot more. So it definitely changed me in that aspect that I take nothing for granted. And if I feel like you're not there for me, I move on.
Okay.
Yes. I can add to that what you're saying. Sometimes people now say I'm more nonchalant.
Hmm.
Nonchalant, don't care.
Yeah, people say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel now.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think I changed more so for me too. I think your patience wear thin with people because, and I'm like you. I don't care if I lose you or not. I used to be. I can say I'm less patient, but I don't know if I'm more playful than I used to be. I didn't used to play as much. I was more serious, so I did change as far as I'm not as serious because stuff to me now is not that serious. I can't give it that much energy. So if you and your feelings about something, I'll let you have your day and I go my way. And when you feel like talking about it, I ain't doing no explaining. Like you knew what you did, you know what was right or wrong, 'cause it's different. So I can move on with or without you. But at the end of the day, I'm still gonna be smiling because I can't be stressing about what you felt or oh you felt this way and then you got to go to explain it. I used to do that back in the day, but I don't now. And people say the same thing. Oh, you just nonchalant. You just don't care. It ain't that I don't care. I just can't waste a lot of energy on stuff. A lot of
Right.
things are not that important to me. So it's like you be stressing about stuff that you can't change. And so the new me, yeah, you do change. You change a lot, but it's some stuff about me that changed that I don't like either. Which ain't it's good stuff for other people, but I think it's bad for me because I'm more giving. If you need something, you got a problem, you call me, I'm gonna try to figure it out. But I'm learning now, everybody problem ain't your problem. You be trying to take on and help people, and the more you try to help, the more they'll try to take. So it's just like, okay, you know what? Let me fall back. If you don't ask me for help, okay, I'll listen to the problem and
Right.
I'm gonna pray for you because that's all I got right now is prayer.
So you guys really have to protect your mental peace. And I wanted
yes.
to ask you, when it came to the kids, how did that go? Like you're trying to process it, but you're still trying to make sure the kids are okay. So how did you build the boundaries around your mental peace to hold it together, and to get through it for the kids? And see, I heard you say your baby went to therapy.
Yes. Yes.
So
So it's like from then it's like I'm actually living for her in somewhat. Um when my wife passed away and losing her side of income in somewhat, here's this is what I take now. I actually changed my job because I used to travel an hour and a half to Columbus for my job. And then after she passed, then I said, okay, I gotta find a new job. And that's when I get in with Delta. And then when I get in with Delta, now I'm an inspector. I the nonchalant behavior is like it's motivate me in my career because I'm not afraid to ground that airplane. You're gonna miss your flight. I don't care. If something wrong with it, I'm not putting my name on it.
right,
So
right,
it it, it made me a more a-hole without any form of regrets. And I think that built me in career wise. But
Mhm.
these are the little takeaway that I have that help me dealing with stuff. So I'm able to live for my daughters because I got a second one. After within 3 years after she passed. And the funniest thing about that is that she passed December 26 after Christmas.
Mm.
And 3 years later, my daughter born December 7th. So when December come around now, I can't cry and I can't laugh. I keep it neutral. Because every December for me now is like, I have extra eyes open. If I drive, I'm more careful because I don't know what that December gonna bring now.
Oh wow. Okay.
So that's basically how I treat it. I try to live for them now. You
Okay.
know, if you look at my pages, you will see like was me and my daughters, like I'm a single dad, but I try to just be there for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What? Okay. What? Chrissy.
Well, my two daughters, one was actually in high school and she was graduating, and my oldest was in graduate school. She's still Madison's actually still going to therapy. London didn't want therapy, but she's also a type of person that she deals with her grief differently. And the hardest part was trying to be strong for them, and it took me to them to one day just tell me I didn't have to be. They were like, "Mommy, if you got to let it out, cry, release it, be sad. We're here for you." And I look at it as a blessing because, they are old enough and mature enough to understand and they miss him. But at the same time, we just figured out a way as a unit to just grieve him through love. And so when we talk about him, we laugh. When they hit milestones in their life, with like my daughter was going to college, graduating from high school, we think of the ways to honor him, but at the same time, remember what he would have said, how he would have done it. So I
Right.
think that's what helps me and drives me every day, knowing that they're okay. Because and they're okay with telling me on days they have bad days. My oldest will call me, "I'm having a bad day. I was thinking about daddy." I look at how she hated to cook, and now she's channeling her inner him because he loved to cook. So she cooks all the time. My
Mm.
youngest was helping him cook a lot, and now she won't cook.
Oh
But
wow.
I think it's because it takes her to a place of sadness because that was their thing together. But at the same time, I look at how she has his drive and ambitious, like does a go getter attitude, won't sit still. So I see so much of them in him now to where it was kind of I didn't see it in when he was living. I couldn't see all that, but it's like watching them now. It's like, oh my god, I see so much of him that sometimes it's kind of scary. But it's just really just I think my in my situation because they're older, we kind of deal with it together. And we all have our moments and we just let it out. We're not afraid to be vulnerable with each other. We're not afraid to say we got to get out this house. We're not afraid to say, hey, you know, we talked to him today. Like my youngest was like, yeah, mommy, because she was just pleasure. She was like, I was telling daddy, you got to make this happen for me. So, we figured out ways to honor him and to still communicate when we know his spirit is still here. So it actually helps in that aspect. And my oldest, like I said, she was dealing with a lot of things as far as she just couldn't deal with it because she's more emotional. So she did seek therapy, but also because she's going to school to be a psychologist as well. So
Mhm.
Congratulations.
yeah. Oh, remember Madison was actually part of y'all Live It Out when she was in high school.
Yeah, she was. I remember. I remember her.
Yeah. So yeah, she's actually going. She's getting her master's now in clinical psychology. So
Awesome.
she knows the importance of therapy. So she still goes to a therapist as well. But London, she's like, "Mommy, I talked to him. He's still here. I feel his spirit. I don't need it." And I tell her, it's always available if she does, and I'm here as well. So that's kind of how we deal with it.
Okay. Okay. And that's still thriving. That's good. That's good. Jesse,
Mhm.
how did you do it
So
with your baby?
I did therapy, but Morgan didn't. I tried to get her to go, but her biggest thing was she just broke down and she was just like, it's not gonna bring her back. So she didn't want to talk to nobody. She never been the one to talk to adults. So she never went. Just now she can talk about him. Cause pictures everywhere, so she don't have no choice. But she talk about him now and she just be like, now that she's older, because she was 10. And mind you,
Mhm.
she was a dad's girl. So they did daddy daughter dates and stuff like that all the time. So it's a lot of stuff she didn't do in the beginning. Like she wouldn't talk about them. She didn't want to be around pictures. But when he first passed, she slept in the bed with me for like 4 months. Oh my God, 4 months. And I was like, okay, Morg, you can finally go in your room. And she was like, no, my daddy said I got to stay in until you stop crying. I said, well, I'm not going to cry no more. She was like, see, as soon as I walk out, you start crying. Then she come back. So, and even when people talk about it, she be like, oh Lord, don't talk about him because she's going to start crying. But now she's 14. She's in high school, so she still never went to therapy, but she can talk about them a lot more than she did before. So we have conversations all the time, and it's like she remember a lot of stuff about her dad. So just keeping pictures around, keeping his memory alive, I think that helps her cope. Because I asked her the other day about taking the pictures off the wall. I said, Morgan, been 4 years. I said, so what if I take? I told her, what if I take the pictures down? She said, I was wondering when you was gonna do it. It's been a long time.
I
So
was
she
gonna
picked the ones that she wanted, and she was like, she'll put them in her room. But I didn't take them down because I went ready. It didn't work.
oh, okay.
But
So
I
see,
still do therapy myself too, because I be needing it. Because some days I be,
right.
whew,
Right. That's a lot. That's a lot. So when you guys was going through this, what's the biggest emotion that you felt like you felt? Was it Chrissy, I heard you say a lot of them. Uh, but what was your biggest emotion, like your strongest emotion when you felt the loss?
Regret.
Regret.
I always kept thinking I could have changed it to keep him here a little longer. And in hindsight, I'm not God. I couldn't have predicted. I couldn't have. I just wanted more time. And I
Mm.
think that was just the selfishness in me wanting that more time. And so I just kept thinking, what if I would have done this? What if we would have went a more holistic approach? What if I would have changed his diet? What if, what if? And then it goes into I'm feeling so regretful till you start neglecting yourself in the process. And so that was one of the reasons. That was another factor for me wanting therapy because just now going from one extreme to another.
Yeah.
And then, eventually the regret turns to anger and bitterness. And so it's like just being able to channel it because I can't, had to come to the realization that I couldn't change it. And there was nothing I could have done that would have changed the outcome.
Right.
And once you come to that realization, it hurts. So then you go from anger to hurt and sadness. And so just trying to figure out how to channel all those emotions because some days you can have all of them at one time. It's like back to back, and you just trying to figure out how to release it and to cope with it because you don't know when it's coming. Like I, I tell people all the time, you don't wake up in the morning saying, "Oh, I'm not going to grieve today." It
Right.
could be the
Mm-hmm.
littlest thing that triggers you, and
Mm-hmm.
next thing you got a pool of tears. So you've got to trying to figure out how to cope and deal with that within itself is a challenge. So you talking to somebody, being able to say, "Let me release it," and just get it out because you don't know when it's gonna hit. I've been in the car listening to a song and I was happy. I mean, I was literally had a great day, and next thing you know, I'm in the car crying. I'm like, what? How did I get here? And you
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I'm in the grocery store. I'm just pulling up to the house, and and you don't even know why. And then one minute I'm happy, the next minute you sad. So people think you crazy because they looking at you, you smiling one minute, and then you think of happy time that you all had that brought that same smile, and now you're crying.
Right.
So that was just my biggest emotion, was just regret, and then it went from that to sadness.
Oh, wow. And anything can trigger grief. A smell, like you said, a
Mhm.
place, thing that was familiar to you guys, you can break down anywhere. Simeon, what was your biggest emotion? Like what's the biggest emotion you felt?
Similar for her, being angry sometime, what I could change from what I couldn't change, and if 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 I didn't know this, what could I do? So for that reason, the takeaway that I get from that now is like, okay, our two boys that was more grown, um, the youngest one stay around until he was 18, because he said, okay, you're my daddy now. And he stayed around until he was 18 and grown. And every now and then he still called dad, you know.
Yeah,
The bigger one, yes, we have our differences, but if he see me now, we still, hey, see me on what's up, you know.
right.
And this is something that I can say, yes, there's a legacy that pass on,
Mm,
because I came and I tried to be the best stepdad or the dad that I could have been. And to see that when she passed, the youngest one didn't want to go to his dad, he want to stay with me
mhm.
until he's grown. Even want me to change his name. But I say, I ain't gonna disrespect your dad. I'll
Right.
treat you like a dad the best way I can. That those are something that give me fulfilling. And like I said, whatever takeaway I have from that now was to like start prepare myself in in so much that I took my daughter to Jamaica and make sure that she's on my property down there and all of that good stuff. It's like I start prepare myself
Yeah.
like something wrong with me, but
No,
it helped me to prepare myself
yeah.
for things that if something happened,
Right.
you know. And this is why it kind of make me angry or a little sad, because had we know how to channel ourselves, had we know what to do, had we come together 2 3 years earlier, this is what could the kids could be at better place now in their lives.
Right.
And that is the selfishness we have to get rid of as adult. If we know something, say something.
Hmm.
Hey, for me now, I go to the doctor and they say, hey, your numbers set a little way. I come home and I tell my daughter, hey, daddy numbers not look so right. So guess what? If anything wrong with me, do this, do that. And
Right.
it kind of sounds silly saying it to a 15-year-old, but it's like I'm actually prepare her for the worst, you know?
Right. Right.
Because I don't have any other family member here in the US with me. Me and my brother in Florida and my sister in New York. But other than that, all of my relatives is in Jamaica. So it's
Right.
just with my household I have,
Yeah.
you
Those
know?
are conversations that we do have to have when we
Yeah,
when.
so I'm just like, while we're at this moment now, this is conversation that we have to think about. And they say black people don't think about that. We just live. But it's a serious scenario where we have to pass into our kids or whatever. What if? How
Right.
do they cope? How do they take on? How do they carry on with their lives? And we can't just make it look like we got them. And even when we're going down, we got them so much that we don't educate them and strengthen them for the unexpected.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's how I treat mine, you know?
Okay. Jesse, what was your biggest emotion?
Anger. I was
Like,
so mad. Like I was mad. That was my biggest one. I was like, you really tried me. So you're gonna go buy their house and then you're gonna leave me here by myself? Okay, I see how you like to play.
right.
Because we used to play so much. But for me, I was more mad than anything. Because I just felt like you just up and left. Like, how you FaceTime me and say you on the way, and then next thing I know, they say you gone. So
Right.
for me, it was anger. And
Yeah.
then after anger, you cry. And then like it's just a mix of emotion. Like I felt like I don't know. I just my main thing was anger. But even when I'm mad, I laugh. So he's always think I was never serious because I played all the time. But For me, I would say it was anger because I kind of felt like you just chose to leave. Like you ain't say nothing. You ain't say you said you were coming back and you didn't come back. That was my whole argument with him was the fact that he said he'll be here in 15 minutes and you never came. And for me, I didn't sleep like the first 7 days until I actually seen him. Cause I went to the site, but he was gone. Then I had connect at the coroner's office, and they was gonna let me see him, but then they had already started their procedure. So the lady was like, "I can't let you see him like that." But I can say they did their part, and they did move faster than most to make sure I was able to see him like within 7 days. So once he got to the funeral home, they called and told me he was transported. And when I saw him, I think that's when reality hit. Because the whole
Right.
7 days I didn't sleep. The whole 7 days I just sat on the sofa because I knew he was coming. And everybody that say they came by, I can't hardly remember nobody because I just sat in that one spot waiting on him to show up. And once I seen him, it still didn't sit in until I want to say days later because it was like nothing was wrong with you. Like I was on the phone with the coroner because I'm trying to figure out like how it was, like how, like what was it like? But like she said, you can't question God. I had my relationship with him got closer because him and therapy was, I think, what got me through it, through my
Absolutely.
hardest time. Because without God and without that therapy, I think I'm like her. I probably would have lost my mind. So
Right.
I, I just think it. You know, I had people around too, but them two right there is what.
That
And
was
then the fact that we did have these conversations. I'm kind of glad we did have a conversation about if something happened, like with our plans or what we wanted and stuff like that. So I kind of knew what he wanted and what I would do, but not really what I would do. Because you could talk about it, but you can never really live it for real until it happened. And when it happened, you like, damn, we just were talking about this the other day. And then here it is. You didn't come back home. And I'm like, and I think that's where my anger came from too, because honestly, we had just had a conversation about this. He was like, if something was to happen to me, I need you to do this. You need to know what this is. The code of my phone is this. And out of 14 years being together, 13 years married, I never knew the code to his phone until that week. 2 weeks prior to him passing, we had that conversation. That man
wow.
wouldn't let me touch that phone. I ain't know the code to the phone. But 2 weeks prior to him passing, we had that conversation. And he was like, this the code to the phone. This how you pay this bill. This how you pay this bill. And I'm like, why you telling me all that now? Like, what you trying to say? And I think that's where my anger came from because it's like we just had this conversation and then you didn't come home.
Right. Wow. Well, you guys have experienced a devastating loss, and my heart goes out to you, and my prayers are with you. And before we leave, because our time is up, because I want you guys to take care of yourselves mentally. I want you to tell me one way that you're living out your best life moving forward right now. What are you doing to live out your best life to take care of yourself?
For
Traveling.
me, me
I
too,
try to go
traveling.
to I try to go to take one international trip a year, at least one. So every year I go on one international trip, but I try to go somewhere like every 6 weeks. I be off work trying to go somewhere just to get away and get by some water. So the water help calms me. But traveling was a good thing for me.
The
I saw
same
you
with me.
got back from Florida.
Hmm.
Yeah, I saw you. I saw you on social media. I said Jesse gone somewhere.
They be at work. They say you just was on vacation, baby. Calm down, calm down. It's okay. I'm going on another one.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
so
the same as you, Jesse. I don't sit still. I literally travel. I try to go somewhere every month too, but I try to do international. Like last year, I didn't sit still. I went international every month last year, from May to December.
Woo!
But
All
this year,
right.
I've been kind of sitting still more so because I had a lot of stuff going on with my daughter. But traveling is definitely my happy place.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay. What you send me
Well,
on?
well, traveling for me, and I actually just rekindled. I just got remarried in January.
Oh,
Okay,
So the
congratulations.
yeah, the new wife is Colombian.
okay.
Okay.
So No, it's like I'm a new language and a different. It's new culture and everything all over.
Oh wow. Okay. That's how you live your life. You living it out. I want to thank you, Jesse and Chrissy and Simeon, for your honesty. Thank you for trusting us with this space. Thank you for your
Yes.
transparency. Thank you for sharing that piece of your life. I know it was hard, but thank you so much. And if our listeners, if this brought anything on you, if this helped you in any way, just put it in the comments. Let us know. We want you to live your best life. So if you guys throw up your L for live it out, that's what the L mean. Thank you guys so much, and I wish you the best. I promise, I wish you the best. Your kids, your life. Keep traveling, keep moving, keep living. And cherish the memories that you have of your spouse. Tick Man, Denise, and what's your husband name, Jesse?
Nakia.
Nakia. That's right. We went to Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, he was
Myrtle-
there when we went on.
Yes, yes. You continue to cherish those memories, and thank you guys so much again. Thank you, thank you. All right,
Thank you,
and
ladies. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for having us.
All right.
click like, share, and subscribe.
Bye bye.
Mwah. Thank
All right,
you.
bye. Have a good night.
Bye bye.
Have